Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Salutations to Ramana, who shines as the Self in all beings. We begin today's Saturday Satsang with the prayer and the chanting of Muktaka trayam by Kumari Revathi Sankar.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Dakshinamurti Sarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Ramanacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Angikam Bhuvanam Yasya Vachikam Sarvavangmayam Aharyam Chandratarari Tam Namah Satvikam Shivam Ekamaksharam Hridi Nirantaram Bhasate Swayam Likhyate Katham Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahmamatram Hyahamahami Sakshat Atmarupena Bhati Hridi Vishamanasa Swam Chinvata Chetava Pavana Chalana Rodha Atmanishto Avatvam Deham Prunmaya Vajjadatmakam Aham Hirnatasyastyato Naham Tattadabhavashukti Samaye Siddhatma Sadbhavataha Om Ayuta Uto Varadhiya Drishtva Nishtha Mana Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam So Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. We have the chanting of a few verses from Upadesa Saram. कर्तुराज्ञया प्राप्यते फलं कर्म किं परं कर्म तज्जडं कृतिमहो ददौ पतनकारणं फलमशाश्वतं गतिनिरोधकम् ईश्वरार्पितं नेच्छया कृतं चित्तशोधकं मुक्तिसाधकं कायवाङ्मन कार्यमुत्तमं पूजनं जपश्चिन्तनं क्रमात् जगत ईषधीयुक्तसेवनम् अष्टमूर्तिभृद्देवपूजनम् उत्तमस्तव तुच्छमन्दत चित्तजं जप ध्यानमुत्तमम् आज्यधारया स्रोतसा समं सरलचिन्तनं विरलतः परं भेदभावनात् सोऽहमित्यसौ भावनाभिदा पावनीमता भावशून्यसद्भावसुस्थिति भावनाबलात् भक्तिरुत्तमा हृत्स्थले मन स्वस्थता क्रिया भक्तियोगबोधाश्च निश्चितम्. Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang with a few offerings of Ramananjali Sangeetam. The presentations will be by Srimati V. Radha. That will be followed by a presentation by Pratibha Sundaresh and Revathi Sankar.
Namo Ramana to all. Today is selected a song written by Sri Sadhuvam Swami, and the music is by Sri L. Krishnan. This speaks about the grace of the Ramana Namam, Ramanacentre. ரமணன் திருநாமம் இறைவன் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ரமணன் திருநாமம் இறைவன் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் இயலாததுமுண்டோ உலகிலே இயலாததுமுண்டோ ஒன்றால் இயலாததுமுண்டோ உலகிலே இயலாததுமுண்டோ ரமணன் திருநாமம் இறைவன் ரமணன் திருநாமம் மறையும் அஞ்ஞானம் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் உள்ளே மலரும் சிவஞானம் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் உள்ளே மலரும் சிவஞானம் ரமணன் திருநாமம் இறைவன் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ரமணன் திருநாமம் இறைவன் ரமணன் திருநாமம் நிறையும் அருளன்பும் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் வாழ்வில் நிலவும் பேரின்பம் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் வாழ்வில் நிலவும் பேரின்பம் ரமணன் திருநாமம் இறைவன் ரமணன் திருநாமம் உணர்வாயுது போதே ரமணா மறவாதே சொல்வாய் ரமணா மறவாதே சொல்வாய் மறுத்தே உளறே தெரியாதே ரமணா மறவாதே சொல்வாய் ரமணா மறவாதே சொல்வாய் ரமணா மறவாதே சொல்வாய் ரமணன் திருநாமம் இறைவன் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் இயலாததும் உண்டோ உலகிலை இயலாததும் உண்டோ ரமணன் திருநாமம் இறைவன் ரமணன் திருநாமம் ஒன்றால் இயலாததும் உண்டோ உலகிலை இயலாததும் உண்டோ ஒன்றால் இயலாததும் உண்டோ உலகிலை இயலாததும் உண்டோ ஒன்றால் இயலாததும் உண்டோ உலகிலை இயலாததும் உண்டோ. நமோ ரமணா.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. This is a Telugu translation of Muruganar Swami's song. Nada bindu kalatita ramana sundaram. Nada bindu kalatita ramana sundaram. Vedarashi vinuti seyu purna sundaram. Vedarashi vinuti seyu purna sundaram. Nada bindu kalatita ramana sundaram. Vedarashi vinuti seyu purna sundaram. Adi antyarahitam ananda sundaram. Adi antyarahitam ananda sundaram. Amita mudamunicho Shri Ramana sundaram. Amita mudamunicho Shri Ramana sundaram. Nada bindu kalatita Ramana sundaram. Vedarashi vinuti seyu purna sundaram. Bhavajaladike setuvain sundaram. Bhavajaladike setuvain sundaram. Dasa janula dariki cherchu Shri Ramana sundaram. Dasa janula dariki cherchu Shri Ramana sundaram. Nada bindu kalati taramana sundaram. Vedarashi vinuti seyu purna sundaram. Anni dishalu velayu Ramanude sundaram. Anni dishalu velayu Ramanude sundaram. Pongi porulu nandam Shri Ramana sundaram. Pongi porulu nandam Shri Ramana sundaram. Nada bindu kalatita Ramana sundaram. Vedarashi vinuti seyu purna sundaram. Nada bindu kalatita Ramana sundaram. Vedarashi vinuti seyu purna sundaram. Vedarashi vinuti seyu purna sundaram. Vedarashi vinuti seyu purna sundaram. Namo Ramana.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. By His grace. And this grace is there at every step of our life. He is so compassionate that He makes us realize that it is His grace which our life is moving forward. Here Muruganar Swami says in this beautiful song, I have come to you, O Guru. In fact, it should be, you have chosen me, O Guru. I am a strengthless, a powerless being, begging to you, seeking to you at your lotus feet to give me liberation, to give me jnana, to give me freedom from all this bondage. When you grace me with the chanting of your name, the Taraka Nama, Ramana, what happens? At every step, whatever obstacles are there, or any sadness or any kind of worry, it just vanishes just by chanting the name Ramana. And what abundant peace prevails within us when we chant his name. Nandakumarji always says, when there is a break in self-enquiry, when we are not able to do, Muruganar Swami also says in another song of his, when I have no strength to delineate between the Deha and the Atma, when I don't have the strength to perform self-enquiry, practice self-enquiry, his name comes as a refuge to us. Keep chanting his name. Immediately, the mind just vanishes into the self without leaving any trace of itself. So Muruganar Swami says, hold my hands like this all the time and take me along with you. When Papa is being burnt, every step there are so many papas which I have done, and when it is being burnt, I am not able to take it. But when Bhagavan is there along with me, he just makes it disappear. There is no worry, there is no sadness, there is nothing other than him when he is next to us. Who else can I go and tell my difficulties other than you, O Bhagavan, O Ramana? You are only there for me, with whom I can share everything, because you know everything about me, because it is you who have planned my life. It's you who have created me, who's taking care of me, and you alone can take me away from myself. Please, Bhagavan, make me surrender to you, is what Muruganar Swami is asking in this song. I present to you a Kannada translation of this, R.M. Gopal's Kannada translation, Muruganar Swami's original, and music is by V.S. Narasimhan. ಗುರುವೇ ರಮಣ ಗುರುವೇ ಅರಸಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಂದಿರುವೆ ಗುರುವೇ ರಮಣ ಗುರುವೇ ಅರಸಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಂದಿರುವೆ ದೀನ ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಭಿಕ್ಷೆ ನೀಡೆಂದು ಚರಣ ಕಮಲದಿ ಬೇಡಿರುವೆ ದೀನ ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಭಿಕ್ಷೆ ನೀಡೆಂದು ಚರಣ ಕಮಲದಿ ಬೇಡಿರುವೆ ಗುರುವೇ ರಮಣ ಗುರುವೇ ಅರಸಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಂದಿರುವೆ ನಿನ್ನ ನಾಮ ಜಪಿಸುವ ವೇಳೆ ಏನೋ ನೆಮ್ಮದಿ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಆಯಿತು ಮಾಯ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಬೇಗುದಿ ನಿನ್ನ ನಾಮ ಜಪಿಸುವ ವೇಳೆ ಏನೋ ನೆಮ್ಮದಿ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಆಯಿತು ಮಾಯ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಬೇಗುದಿ ಏನೋ ಶಾಂತಿ ತಂದಿತು ಇಂದು ನಿನ್ನ ಪರಮ ಸನ್ನಿಧಿ ಏನೋ ಶಾಂತಿ ತಂದಿತು ಇಂದು ನಿನ್ನ ಪರಮ ಸನ್ನಿಧಿ ಕೈ ಹಿಡಿದೆನ್ನ ನಡೆಸೋ ಗುರುವೆ ಕರುಣೆ ವಾರಿಧಿ. ಕೈ ಹಿಡಿದೆನ್ನ ನಡೆಸೋ ಗುರುವೆ ಕರುಣಾವಾರಿಧಿ. ಗುರುವೆ ರಮಣ ಗುರುವೇ ಅರಸಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಂದಿರುವೆ. ನನ್ನ ಪಾಪ ದಹಿಸುವ ವೇಳೆ ನೀನೇ ಆಸರೆ. ತಾಳಲಾರೆ ದುರಿತವನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋ ಕಣ್ಮರೆ. ನನ್ನ ಪಾಪ ದಹಿಸುವ ವೇಳೆ ನೀನೇ ಆಸರೆ. ತಾಳಲಾರೆ ದುರಿತವನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋ ಕಣ್ಮರೆ. ನಿನ್ನ ಹೊರತು ಯಾರಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿ ತೊಂದರೆ. ನಿನ್ನ ಹೊರತು ಯಾರಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿ ತೊಂದರೆ. ಕಾಯುವೆ ನೀನೆ ಗುರುವೇ ನೀನೆ ಶರಣು ಎಂದರೆ. ಕಾಯುವೆ ನೀನೆ ಗುರುವೇ ನೀನೆ ಶರಣು ಎಂದರೆ. ಗುರುವೇ ರಮಣ ಗುರುವೇ ಅರಸಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಂದಿರುವೆ. ದೀನ ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಭಿಕ್ಷೆ ನೀಡೆಂದು ಚರಣ ಕಮಲದಿ ಬೇಡಿರುವೆ. ಗುರುವೇ ರಮಣ ಗುರುವೇ ಅರಸಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಂದಿರುವೆ. ಗುರುವೇ ರಮಣ ಗುರುವೇ ಅರಸಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಂದಿರುವೆ. ಅರಸಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಂದಿರುವೆ. ಅರಸಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಂದಿರುವೆ. ನಮೋ ರಮಣ.
Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang with the reading and sharing session by Sri Nandakumarji.
Namo Ramana. In this, the book reading segment of our satsang, we continue to read from Ramana's Muruganar, a birth centenary presentation, compilation, edited and compiled by our founder president, Sri A.R. Natarajanji. We have seen Sulochanamma's account, followed by Dr. Sharda's account, our president's account, and now we have come to Professor Swaminathan, K. Swaminathan's account. The article is entitled The Maharishi and Muruganar. The Maharishi and Muruganar. This is in fact a talk given in the centenary celebrations of Bhagavan, Sri Ramana centenary celebrations. The talk was delivered at the Bhagavan Sri Ramana centenary celebrations during November 8 to November 10, published in Mountain Path 1981. So that has been reproduced here. This is an account by Professor K. Swaminathan sir. It is entitled Maharishi and the Maharishi and Muruganar. Of course, Swaminathan sir has said elsewhere, not in this particular article, that Muruganar's poetry was one of the leading ways in which he has understood Bhagavan's teachings. We start with the article. The Maharishi and Muruganar, Professor K. Swaminathan. In speaking about Muruganar, one should say something of Sri Ramana Maharishi himself as a central figure in the Tamil spiritual tradition and of the place of poetry in the Indian scheme of things. As Sri Ramana is as clearly a fruit of Tamil culture with its rigorous intellectual precision and down-to-earth realism As Sri Ramakrishna is of Bengali culture with its emotional wealth and warmth. The Kural, that is Tirukural, distinguishes sharply between these two modes of human experience. Thiru, that is opulence, and Telidal, that is clarity. Telidal standing for the truth and Thiru standing for opulence and beauty. Vishnu, Alankara Priya, stands for a wide spectrum of prosperity, power of dharma. Shiva, Alankara Priya, Abhisheka Priya, stands for clarity, the bright white light of pure awareness, and the peace of moksha. Vishnu rejoices in the multitudinous variety and complex interrelationships of the numbers 2 to infinity, while Shiva's concern is with 0, that is total absence, and 1, that is total presence. The professor is a specialist in these symbolic interpretations of Hinduism. I'll read that again. Vishnu rejoices in the multitudinous variety and complex interrelationships of the numbers 2 to infinity, while Shiva's concern is with 0, that is total absence, and 1, total presence. There can be Krishna Prema and Rama Seva, but Shiva admits only of Shivam Adal, becoming Shiva, the Sukhi expiring in the Sukhitva. But in Tamil land, Shiva has also acquired flesh and blood, form and feature. It was in the Tamil land that Shiva and his 2 sons came down to earth and sported with the mortals and gave rise to situations charged with abiding charm and profound significance, thus releasing a perennial stream of poetry which custom cannot stale and cleverness cannot pollute. While the Maharshi, with his mathematical elegance, makes little use of this traditional wealth of imagery and style, Muruganar rejoices rapturously in it, and in the process establishes for himself a secure and eminent place in Tamil devotional literature comparable to that of Manikavachakar. I'll read that sentence again. While the Maharshi, with his mathematical elegance, makes little use of this traditional wealth of imagery and style, Muruganar rejoices rapturously in it, and in the process establishes for himself a secure and eminent place in Tamil devotional literature comparable to that of Manikavachakar. The vision of death, followed by spontaneous illumination, so swift, so complete, and so permanent that transformed the schoolboy Ramana into a sage, has astonished foreign observers. But pious Hindus accept the great event as yet another, if also contemporary manifestation of Shiva's grace. The vision of death, followed by spontaneous illumination, so swift, so complete, and so permanent that transformed the schoolboy Ramana into a sage, has astonished foreign observers. But pious Hindus accept the great event as yet another, if also contemporary manifestation of Shiva's grace. The consubstantiality and the interplay of God and man form the very foundation of South Indian Shaivism. The consubstantiality and interplay of God and man, consubstantiality, I looked up, means that being made of the same substance. The consubstantiality of the interplay of God and man, meaning God and man are made of the same substance, form the very foundation of South Indian Shaivism. There is a quote here: well pleased to intermingle with his seer servants, Shiva enters in among the saintly throng of those whose faith is strong, conceals his form, assumes another, and with love enraptured sports. Well pleased to intermingle with his seer servants, Shiva enters in among the saintly throng of those whose faith is strong, conceals his form, assumes another, and with love enraptured sports. Poets like Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni and Muruganar delighted in singing of the youthful sage Ramana as a modern avatar of Kumara or Skanda Kumara, like the youthful Dakshinamurti himself, symbolizes the legitimate right and obligation of the young to teach the old. The old know the past through hard-earned experience, while the young sense the future through some natural teleological power. Teleological, I looked up once again. It means that which is able to see the goal for which it was intended. So the youth are supposed to have, in some sense, a sensibility towards what is going to happen, while the old are experienced in the experience of the past. Father and son. The West, which knows nothing of Shiva, conceives of time as something flowing from past into the present. For us, Shiva is eternity, the timeless, the pure, formless awareness, which is the sole reality, the whole of the unknown future, forever freshly flowing into time. Confronting this current stands Muruga with his 12 eyes and 12 arms. Swimming upstream, we have to live in the living present, the meeting point of the two eternities of past and future. Only very foolish old people live in the dead past. Shiva, pure, timeless awareness, operates in and through Muruga, the human and human God divine, the glimpse of moksha here and now, known in every heroic moment to lovers, poets, and warriors. The Christian creed says truly, none can go to the Father except through the Son Kumara. Muruga might have been in origin a tribal god. For the poet, he is the perennial play of the light eternal on the swift moving waters of Prakriti. We understand that the poet, the writer or the speaker himself is a great poet. Hence, this profusion of interplay of imagery that we have in that paragraph. In the Indian tradition, the two ultimate values are truth with its clarity and beauty with its manifold power to please and guide us human beings. In the Indian tradition, the two ultimate values are truth with its clarity and beauty with its manifold power to please and guide us human beings. Vishnu and Shiva, beauty and truth, are the empirical and transcendental aspects of the one reality. Because other nations have lost the relish for eternity and the meanings and right management of their mythology, we need not impoverish ourselves by starving our aesthetic sensibility and denying or suppressing the voice of poetry and the conversation of mankind. Mythology provides a broad, safe bridge for the two-way traffic between the real and the actual, the real being the truth and the actual being the multiplicity in which we see. Properly handled by poets and widely enjoyed by childlike minds, this mysticism, this mythical, can work wonders. It is the surest means of communicating to common people the most profound truths of transforming the consciousness of whole communities. What poetry does is this, he says, that the poetry brings that which is transcendental to the common person. And we can see that happening in many of the cinema songs. Whose tunes Sadhuvam Swamigal also uses in his poetry. The poetry uses simple imagery, but is pointing to that which is beyond the mind. That is why it is mystical. At some point, you will be able to make sense. At some point, it transcends your reasoning. So we will read further with this great writer, Professor K. Swaminathan, and his discussion of these two great paths of bhakti and jnana, of enquiry into truth and enquiry into beauty, in our next satsang. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Namo.
Namo Ramana. We move on to the next part of the satsang where we have the practice of self-enquiry, which will be guided and led by Sri Dileep Simha ji.
Namo Ramana. Dhyaye Sharada Chandra Sundaramukam Tamraravinde Kshanam Bhaktabhishtabara Pradakaram Ujwalam Svatmanam Darasa Vivasham Sarvanavadyangakam Shrimantam Shri Ramanishwaram Guruvaram Yogasana Dhyasitam Dhyaye Shri Ramanishwaram Dhyaye Shri Ramanishwaram Dhyaye Shri Ramanishwaram Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahmamatram Yahamahmiti Sakshatatmarupena Bhati Hridivishamanasa Swam Chinvata Majjatava Pavana Chalanarodha Atmanishto Bhavatvam. Namo Ramana. We will commence the evening Atma Vicharam by listening and meditating on Bhagavan's Upadesham. And I will be reading his Upadesham from the book Guruvachika Kovai, from the chapter Meditation on the Truth. The topic is Samsara. Verse 874. When seen with the eyes of one's own Swarupa, which is the transcendental firmament, the illusion of birth is merely the folly of the ego, which is living coalesced with a body that appears in this false world, which is just an imaginary appearance. I repeat the verse. When seen with the eyes of one's own Swarupa, which is the transcendental firmament, the illusion of birth is merely the folly of the ego, which is living coalesced with a body that appears in this false world, which is just an imaginary appearance. Here, Bhagavan is drawing our attention to that transcendental firmament, that truth which is in everything and yet transcends everything. And if we were to inquire, what is that? That is the self. That self is one's own Swarupa. If we were to see everything through that eye, Bhagavan is saying here, through that transcendental firmament, which is the pure consciousness, pure existence, because we can't have any experience that we claim of the samsara without the consciousness, without the awareness, without the attention falling on it. So therefore, it is very important to recognize that no matter what all we are experiencing in the samsara, which may have many names and forms, in fact is all being experienced by the consciousness and experienced as consciousness in consciousness. So therefore it is totally consciousness experiencing itself. That is the transcendental firmament. That is the truth. That is the firm truth. However, the ego, the ego is an illusion which is really not there. It rises by limiting the consciousness to the body. So the coalesced, it is used as a word term here called coalesced. When that one truth, which is what is everything, because if we are experiencing anything, it is only experienced in the consciousness. Therefore, it is only consciousness that we are experiencing. However, because the ego limits the consciousness to this form, body, the idea, wrong idea that I am the body, though I am the pure consciousness, the wrong idea, I am the body, becomes something, a folly, an imaginary appearance takes place. And this is the whole reason why we experience so much of divisions in this samsara. Because once we are limited to a name and form, obviously this name and form cannot be in some other place. So if there is a mobile, this form is not that form. Therefore, we cannot experience the mobile as oneself. We will because we have taken this form to be oneself, we will be obviously experiencing other forms as being separate. And that is the samsara. The ego here, which is creating an imaginary difference, is creating all the variations, likes and dislikes, good, bad, all these varying things. Though in reality, it is self alone is. A good example that we can see is that though the water itself, it can become a bubble, and each bubble can have a varying size. Each bubble can have various direction in which it floats. Where does it float? In the water itself. And what is the bubble? Top of the bubble, it is nothing but the water only. Though the bubble may have different size, may have different shapes, may have different directions in which it floats, and may have different time at which it gets created and gets destroyed. But it always gets created in the water and becomes again the water. It is the same way that the consciousness, as in the dream, creates the entire universe and imagines all separateness, and it may have fear, it may have anger, it may have joy in the dream, but upon waking recognizes it was all created by it. Like that, when we recognize that all of this is one's own self, one's own pure consciousness, if we don't slip to this imaginary division created by limiting the consciousness to a form called the body, if we don't entertain it as real by inquiring to whom is this, who am I, then we recognize we are the consciousness, the vast space of consciousness, wherein this body and many things come and go like the bubble, but the consciousness is never altered by so many forms coming and going. And therefore, that is the transcendental firmament. That is the firmament, and that is one's own truth. When this recognition is very clear, then one stops to entertain all these variations, these divisions. That is how the firmament, then the mind, having nothing else to hold on to, will take the Swarupa, the form of the Swarupa, and remain as nothing but free of thoughts, as the pure being consciousness only. For that, Bhagavan has given us Atma Vichara. No matter how many times the ego throws up a form in the form of a thought or an object and tries to drag the consciousness to this, Bhagavan's Atma Vichara, to whom is this, brings the attention back to the I, the first and the foremost division, which has limited the consciousness to the body. And by inquiring, who am I? By searching the truth of the real I, what do I really refer to as I? When we go within, the grace of the Master makes us get back and abide in our real nature, the pure being consciousness. Because the vasanas, the ideas of division is very strong, initially we may not experience that firmament continuously, but with repeated practice and with clear recognition that the truth alone is, self alone is, it is the self and self alone which is there. All these imaginary divisions is all a folly. And when we recognize that it is nothing but the Swarupa, then the abidance in that is very natural because it is effortlessly present at all times. And then the mind, which was creating thoughts of division, stops and experiences that firmament as pure being consciousness. Until that, Bhagavan asks us to repeatedly practice self-enquiry. Every time there is an imaginary difference, he asks us to inquire, to whom is this? Who am I? Bhagavan's immense grace, for the next 10 minutes, let us practice Atma Vichar. Om Namo Bhagavate Sriramana. More Ramana. Thank you.
Namo Ramana. In this part of the satsang, we are meditating on the verses of Ramanacentre written by Ganapati Muni, and they have been compiled and given to us with the title Ramanacentre by Ramana himself. We are meditating on the verses 38, where Ganapati Muni says, Soham jato Ramana Bhagavan Padayoste davishto Yadyapyasmin mahati samaye Shaktilasye pravrete Suryasyeva jvalita mahaso Duragamnata shaktim Vishvacha Vishwasyagram Tava mama mano Vita dukkam Tatapi Ramanam Gurum Namami Ramanam Gurum Namami Naniruve Ramana Devana Padagala Agali Iga nadeyutiha Shaktilasyada Mahattad Samayadali Suryanantaha Jwalipa Shaktiyu Bahudura Haradaballa Vishwotamane Ninna neneyuta Manada Alalu Alitu Ramana Guruvige Namana Ramana Guruvige Namana Ramana Guruvige Namana Ramana Guruvige Namana. Ganapati Muni, he describes the presence of Ramana as Shakti Lasya, as a beautiful, graceful dance. Talking about dance, Ramana, he actually sings of Arunachala and his grace, Karuna Purna Sudhabde, as that very same Shakti Lasya. He says, Chittiramam Videllam Shemmalaye Nin Pale Uttidamai Nindre Odungidumal Nittiyamum Naan Endridayam Nadittiduvayaal Un Perdan Idayam Endriduvartha O Arunachala, it is in you this beautiful picture of the world appears. And this beautiful world, all the movies and the scenes of the world is sustained. And it is in you that the world picture is subsiding. So you are that screen, or you are that stage on which the world is appearing and acting and disappearing. Then, who are you, Arunachala? Where are you? You are actually the essence. You are the heart. You are the center of all beings. And you are dancing in that heart all the time. Nityamum, as Nan, Nan, Aham, Aham. You are that supreme dance of Nataraja. And here Ganapati Muni says, you are that supreme dance of the universal mother, Jagadamba. And you, there's a nama in the Sahasra Nama which says Ramana is Lasya Priyaya Namaha. The Lasya is the same dance but it is very, very graceful, and it is full of love, and it is so beautiful. The lasya is said to the dancers who do the lasya nritya, they should wear nice, beautiful, colorful costumes, and they should wear nice, beautiful ornaments and do the lasya nritya. This lasya, who the Adidevata for lasya is Parvati Devi, and she taught this dance to the Banasura's daughter, whose name was Usha. And Usha got married to Krishna's grandson, who is Aniruddha. And when she got married to Aniruddha, Usha, when she came to the Mathura, the people had forgotten how was the dance of the gopis and Krishna. They talk about Rasa Leela. How was this dance? We have all forgotten it, because in between there was so much of fight, the Mahabharata war and Kurukshetra, and the whole family, everybody losing their lives. So we have, in that the sorrow of the war, we have forgotten the greatness, that beauty of the dance of Krishna and the gopis. So when they were all feeling sad that they had forgotten this graceful dance of Krishna and the gopis, Usha told, I know a dance which I have learned from Parvati Devi, and I'm sure the Krishna's dance would be that same Shakti Lasya. And she taught that dance to all the Gopikas of Dwaraka. And the Dwaraka is now in the area of Gujarat and Rajasthan. So when we see the dance which is done in the Gujarat and Rajasthan, the Dandiya Ras, the Garba dance, and in Rajasthan we have the Ghumar dance, the costumes are so colorful and beautiful, with lot of mirror works, a lot of jewelry and lot of beauty. And at the same time it is very, very vigorous, and it is very, very tiring. And there are some Yauvaka Lasya and Jarita Lasya, where the ladies will hold sword and shield, and they will do this dance of Lasya. So the Lasya, it's very, very beautiful to look at, but it is at the same time it is very, very powerful, like the usually the Dandiya Ras, which is done during the Navaratri time. It is told it represents the fight between Mahishasura and the Devi, Durga Devi, and that is shown in the dance. So it is full of power, at the same time it is full of beauty and love. That is the Shakti Lasya, and it is arising from Ramana, and it is sustained and it is subsiding in Ramana. That is the beauty of Shakti Lasya. And Ganapati Muni says that Shakti Lasya is happening, that beautiful dance is happening in your presence, Ramana, but I am very, very far from you. I am not able to enjoy the beauty of your dance. When thinking about this, I remember one padam which I learnt, where the Naika is a Mugdha Naika, and she comes to Krishna to tell bye for the last time. She is taking leave of him and going, but Krishna is upset and he is not talking to that gopi. And the gopi is telling, Mugudochi pila chedu poi vatuna priti Maravakura Sami. He's come and he is calling me. Who is that he? That he is my husband. I don't even know when I got married. When I was a little in Balyam, when I didn't know anything, I got married. There was child marriage which happened. And now my husband and his family, they all have come to take me to his house. But Sami, don't forget me. Don't forget my love. Don't forget to remember me and shower your love, says the Naika, the Mugdha Naika. And the Krishna is still upset and he is not talking to this Naika who is leaving him and going away. And the Naika, although she is a Mugdha Naika, she is just like 12, 13 years. Yet she, in the course of that song, she becomes matured and she says, Bhanu Padmamu Vale Dura Mundina Yemi Ni Padame Dhyanamu. Just like the Bhanu and Padma. The Bhanu is the sun which is up in the sky, and Padma is the lotus. It is there here in the earth. And although it is separated by great distance, what difference would it make? Ganapati Muni itself says the sun is the friend of the lotus. So far they are, but yet they are friends, because when the sun rises, the lotus blossoms. Just like that, even if you are here and I am there very, very far away from you, it does not matter. I will always be remembering you, says that Naika. But is there any difference? Are we away from the sun like the lotus? Bhagavan in the Who Am I? He says that the only obstruction for the sadhana that we have to do for self-enquiry is that to think that, oh, it is not possible by me. I am very, very far from sadhana. I am not able to do it. That very thought is the greatest obstacle. You are that what you are. You are that what you are seeking. You are already that, says Bhagavan Ramana. Then where is the difference? If you have already reached Tiruvannamalai and you are wondering, how long should I go to Tiruvannamalai? It is only somebody has to come and tell you, the Guru has to come and tell you, Tattvam Asi. You are already that what you are. But we like to separate ourselves and we think, oh, it is not possible for us to attain this. Bhagavan would say, if others have succeeded, why can't you? It is possible. And that's the assurance which Ramana gives us. And Ramana's is he says, your Shakti so apara. By understanding your Shakti, your Kripa Shakti, I understand and my mind, it is consoled. It is not sad anymore. It is finding happiness. Understanding your great Shakti. Your great Shakti that you are beyond the time and space. There is a beautiful interview of Kanakammal where she says that we have seen Bhagavan Ramana. She's talking to the interviewer and telling that I have seen Bhagavan Ramana, I have heard his voice, I have seen his movements, I have seen his grace. So for us to be in love with Bhagavan Ramana, to have devotion to Bhagavan Ramana is very, very natural. But I see even today in Ramana's ashrama, I see so many devotees from various parts of the world are attracted to him. They all have a connection to him. They shed tears in front of him. They share their sorrows and they are happy to be there. They go around the Samadhi shrine. They find the presence of Ramana. They meditate in his presence. And everybody feels that, nobody feels that Bhagavan is not there. Everybody feels the presence of Bhagavan. So this makes me understand, she says, that Bhagavan is beyond time and space. He is available. His Shakti is beyond time and space. It's available everywhere and all the time. And the Shakti of his grace is that it can make, even we were talking about one beautiful song of Sadhu Swami where he says Bhagavan's Shakti is so profound that it can make a dumb man, a person who cannot speak, it will make him sing poetry. And even a person who does not have legs, It will make him cross the mountain and he can climb up the mountain peaks. And that is the grace of Bhagavan Ramana. I think this is inspired by one Bhagavad Gita shloka where he says, Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim. Your kripa, Madhava, it can make even mukam karoti vachalam, even a person who cannot speak, it can make him speak. And even the person who does not have legs, you can make him climb up the mountain. Such is the Shakti of your Kripa. And Ganapati Muni says, yes, by understanding that your Kripa is everywhere. Arul ondre irku oi. There is only the grace. But nee kuruka varade, says Bhagavan Ramana. You don't come in between and obstruct it. Don't say, I am this limited identity, I am this body. Don't limit yourself to this small identity. Understand who you are. When you understand who you are, then you understand that you are never away from Ramana. You are that very part of Shakti Lasya. If we are already part of Shakti Lasya, how do we understand? How can we see the Shakti Lasya? The only way to see the Shakti Lasya is to be the dance, to be that Shakti. Then alone we can realize that we are part of that supreme dance. So Ganapati Muni says, it is an assurance for Ganapati Muni and for all of us that Ramana is beyond time and space. He is there, here and now, shining as the self in every heart. And in the times of despair, in the times when we feel that he is away from us, remember, we are already in him. And let us be consoled and let us remember this and be eternally happy, says Ganapati Muni. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. We move on to the part of the satsang where we have the chanting of a few verses from Arunachala Aksharamanamalai by Srimati V. Radha.
Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala mena ahame ninaipavar, ahatai vera rupai Arunachala, அழகு சுந்தரம் போலகமும் நீயுமுற்று அபிநமாயிருப்போம் அருணாச்சலா அகம்பூகும் தீர்த்துன் அககுகை சிறையாய் அமர்வித்ததன் கொல் அருணாச்சலா ஆருக்காவென்னை ஆண்டனை அகற்றிடில் அகிலம் பழித்திடும் அருணாச்சலா இப்படி தப்புனையே நினைப்பித்தாயினி யார் விடுவார் அருணாச்சலா ஈன்றிடும் அன்னையிற் பெரிதருள் புரிவோய் இதுவோ உனதருள் அருணாச்சலா உனையே மாற்றி ஓடாதுள்ளத்தின் மேல் உறுதியாயிருப்பாய் அருணாச்சலா ஊர் சுற்றுளம் விடாதுன்னை கண்டடங்கிட உன்னழகை காட்டருணாச்சலா என்னை அழித்திப்போதென்னை கலவாவிடில் இதுவோ ஆண்மை அருணாச்சலா ஏன் இந்த உறக்கம் என்னை பிறர் இழுக்க இது உனக்கழகோ அருணாச்சலா ஐம்புல கள்வர் அகத்தினில் புகும்போது அகத்தில் நீ இல்லையோ அருணாச்சலா ஒருவனாம் உன்னை ஒளித்தேவர் வருவார் உன் சோதே இது அருணாச்சலா அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ 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 அருணாச்சலா अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल அருணாச்சலம் வாழி அன்பர்களும் வாழி அக்ஷரமணமாலை வாழி நமோ ரமணா.
Namo Ramana. We conclude today's satsang with the Ashtottara puja to Bhagavan, which will be done by Sri Dileep Simha ji in his home altar of Bhagavan, and the chanting of the Ashtottaram will be by Vaibhavji and Prarthana, followed by Revathi Sankar, and Revathi Sankar will sing the Arati song for Bhagavan.
नमो रमण. भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितं श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मिमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि. ॐ महासेन महोंशेन जाताय नमः. ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः. ॐ गुरवे नमः. ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः. ॐ महौजसे नमः. ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः. ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः. ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः. ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः. ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः. ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः. ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः. ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः. ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः. ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः. ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः. ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः. ॐ तीव्राय नमः. ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः. ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः. ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोण्णशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः. ॐ तपोमयाय नमः. ॐ उदासीनाय नमः. ॐ महायोगिने नमः. ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः. ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः. ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः. ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः. ॐ सवित्रे नमः. ॐ स्थिराय नमः. ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः. ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः. ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः. ॐ चूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः. ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः. ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः. ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः. ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः. ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः. ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः. ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः. ॐ पूर्णाय नमः. ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः. ॐ गम्भीराय नमः. ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः. ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः. ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः. ॐ दक्षिणास्यनिभाय नमः. ॐ धीराय नमः. ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः. ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः।
ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीशोणाचलहृद्भूतस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादि ग्रन्थसञ्चिन्न संशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनाधगसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ हृच्छान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रीशस्तुतिद्रष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगभिषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्री अष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थाणोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः नृत्याजनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रहसुप्रवाह विवशस्थादात्म्यभावं गतः निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनः स्वीकराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि दर्शन सुख मंगल मुख सकल जीवहित सम्मुख ब्रह्म संगिये सदा तुष्ट सदा हृष्ट सदा शिव नंद पुष्ट परम महर्षि ब्रह्मनिष्ठ समदर्शी नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव ಪ್ರಭಾವರ್ಣ ನಮೋ ಮಹರ್ಷಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನವದೊಂದು ಕಾಡು ನೀನರಿತೆಯೇ ಅದರ ಚಾಡು ಹಿತವನರಿತು ನೀಡುತ್ತೆಮ್ಮ ಕೊರೆಯ ತಣಿಸಲೈ ಬೇಡಲೆಂದು ಬಂದ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿಯೇ ತಣಿವೆವಯ್ಯ ಮೂಡಿಗಾರನೇ ಹಿತವ ನುಡಿದು ಪೊರೆ ನಮ್ಮನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸಂಗಿಯೇ नमो 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 रमण सदाशिव प्रभावर्ण नमो महर्षि नमो महर्षि बोलो भगवान श्री रमण महर्षि की जय